Hi, I'm attorney Ben Schwartz. Today I'm going to answer a viewer question from Karen in Dover, Delaware. Karen's question is it true that cops cannot stop you solely for window tint if there is no other traffic violation, or is that an urban myth? And this is a question, I've run across this question several times, and I think that there's a rumor out there that basically the cops cannot or will not pull you over solely to check the darkness of your window tint. And I can't tell you what police policies or procedures say, and if there is a police policy or procedure that says don't pull people over just for window tint, I don't know about it. What I can tell you is that the law allows them to do it unless there's a state statute or case that says otherwise. So essentially, it's a Fourth Amendment issue. The Fourth Amendment prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures. When the police pull someone over in a vehicle for a traffic violation, that stop is considered a seizure. So any stop has to basically be consistent with the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which means it has to be reasonable. So under the Fourth Amendment, as far as I'm aware, there's no federal cases saying that the police can't stop you for window tint. And so what it comes down to is you've got to ask, where did the traffic stop occur? What state did it occur in? And what does that state's law say about whether the police can stop a vehicle? Now, in the two states where I have a license to practice law are Maryland and Delaware. I can tell you that there's a case in Maryland. It's out of the Maryland Court of Appeals called State versus Williams, 934 Atlantic 2nd 38, and essentially what the Court of Appeals said in that 2007 case is that if an officer chooses to stop a car for a window tint violation, and the officer can articulate how, in his observation, it's likely that the window tint on that car violated this Maryland state statute or the Maryland state standard for window tinting, then a court could uphold that stop as being constitutional. I also practice law in Delaware, and in Delaware it's not entirely clear whether a police officer can stop you or not stop you solely for a window tint violation. There's two cases out of the Delaware Superior Court, which is not the highest court in the state of Delaware. The first case is a case called State versus Coursey, 906 Atlantic 2nd 845. That's a 2006 case where a police officer stopped a vehicle for a window tint violation or a suspected window tint violation and found drugs in the vehicle. Of course, the driver of the vehicle filed a motion, or his attorney filed a motion to suppress the evidence based upon what they thought was a violation of the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. And the court actually did throw out the evidence. The court did suppress the evidence because the police officer testified that he couldn't see the occupants of the vehicle through the window tint, through the glass, but he also acknowledged that that's not the standard for whether a tint is too dark or okay. And so the court threw out the evidence on the basis of the police officer's testimony. The next year, the Superior Court issued a decision, another judge in the Superior Court issued a decision in another case called State versus Trower, 931 Atlantic 2nd 456, and in that case, the defendant, the driver of the vehicle, was stopped again for a window tint violation. Again, after being stopped, the police found drugs in the car and arrested the driver. But this time, the Superior Court said that the stop was valid. It was okay to stop that car for that window tint violation. So we've got different decisions, different opinions coming out of the Superior Court, and I'm not aware of any Delaware Supreme Court case that resolves it one way or the other. So the answer is, in Delaware, maybe you can be stopped for a window tint violation. Probably you can be constitutionally stopped, legally stopped for a window tint violation, but I'm not 100% sure because the Supreme Court of Delaware has never ruled on it. So to answer the question, I think that it's a very simple question with a very convoluted legal answer, and basically what it comes down to is that it depends upon the state you're in, but probably they can stop you solely for a window tint violation. Now this raises the question, should you have tinting on your windows? My opinion is that, at least in, let's say, Delaware, you can get a tint waiver if you have a medical condition that requires you to have tinting on the windows. You go to your optometrist or you go to your family doctor and get them to fill out a paperwork for the DMV, and you get a tint waiver, and that lets you have window tinting. That doesn't stop you from being stopped by the police for your window tinting. My opinion is that I would not want to have my windows tinted in my car because I would not want to just give the police a reason to stop me. In other words, sometimes the police find someone to be suspicious. If I'm driving around, I'm not sure where I'm going. I'm checking MapQuest or Google Maps on my phone. I'm driving slowly. I'm stopping frequently. That's suspicious activity. A police officer watching me do that might say, maybe that guy's looking for his connection to buy some drugs or something. I don't want to give the police a reason to stop me. If I have window tinting, now they have a reason to stop me. And so, just on basic principle, I would not tint my windows. I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of hateful email from window tinting companies now that I said that, but I personally wouldn't do it. That's my personal preference. It's not legal advice. So Karen, hopefully that answers your question. I hope that for those of you who are watching this video, you found this interesting and informative. Again, my name is Ben Schwartz. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Schwartz & Schwartz with offices in Philadelphia, Wilmington, Dover, Delaware, and now Salisbury, Maryland. And if you would like to get a hold of me, you can send me an email, ben.schwartz@schwartzandschwartz.com, or you can go on Facebook and send us a message or leave us a comment. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/Schwartz and Schwartz.